Welcome back to the deep dive. So you know how we usually operate here. We take a huge stack of articles, research papers, notes, all that, and we distill it all down to the essential insights, so you can be well informed. Well, today we're taking those exact same rules of rigorous analysis, and we're applying them to something a little different, a fiction romance book.
Right.
Because sometimes the most fascinating deep dives happen where that academic rigor just smashes right into human emotion. Okay, let's unpack this. We dove into Audrey Stone's new Christmas story, The Last Starlight Wish. And I want to be clear, this is not just about, hot cocoa and tinsel.
Rosebrough.
It is this meticulously crafted story about, of all things, institutional auditing, historical integrity, and the very high-stakes financial survival of a town. So if you love a sharp intellectual argument mixed in with your cozy holiday setting, you are definitely going to want to pay attention.
It's a wonderful blend, really, and what's so compelling is how the author uses the whole apparatus of academic research to actually drive the romantic tension.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a story where the main conflict isn't just, will they or won't they? It's more like, will the hero and heroine completely dismantle the entire historical and economic foundation of a town, all in the name of truth?
Exactly.
It allows for this really intense romantic drama, but it's all underpinned by some serious intellectual sparring.
And that's our mission today. We are going to explore the unique setting, which is almost a third character, the explosive dynamics of our leads, and the core conflict that really elevates this book from just, simple holiday fluff
To something with real resonance.
Right. A story about the nature of belief itself.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we are keeping this entirely spoiler-free so you can enjoy the ride yourself. So let's start with Havenbrook, England, because that's where this whole beautiful disaster takes place. Havenbrook is described as this coastal town that doesn't actually exist on any map, but the author makes it feel so authentic, so welcoming.
You feel like you could go there.
You really do. You can practically smell the salt, wet air just reading the descriptions.
It's a masterclass in fictional world building. Havenbrook is built on these really solid, grounded foundations, which, makes the threat to its folklore feel so much more real.
Right.
The book emphasizes that it's known locally as a hub of creativity and learning. It has a renowned university that isn't just generic. It specializes in marine sciences.
Oh, that detail is so important.
It is. It's crucial because it immediately sets up that clash between hard science and, coastal folklore.
I love that contrast. The town is half academic rigor, half artistic charm. It's got this lively, creative quarter that celebrates local Cornish crafts.
And underneath all of that, the community is deeply committed to sustainability. We hear about their community-owned wind farms.
It's a town that works, it takes care of itself, and that pride is just so central to its whole identity.
Absolutely. It's a functioning, viable place. It's not some sleepy little village just waiting to be saved.
But then,
Yeah.
the holidays arrive.
And the entire town transforms for what they call its crown jewel, the Christmas festival.
And the description of this transformation is it's where the romantic atmosphere really comes to life.
But with a little bit of an edge to it.
A brittle edge, yeah. The seafront turns into this spectacular, almost overwhelming holiday display.
It's so atmospheric. The sea mist, it doesn't just hang there. It frosts the LED fairy lights in a gossamer haze. And the soundscape is deliberately strange. There's a description of the salt-wet silence being broken by the sinister music of an automated carillon playing Deck the Halls on quarter speed.
It's so creepy and perfect. It gives you this sense that all this beauty is just being held together by something tenuous.
Like frozen sugar, yeah.
And that sense of a delicate balance is really important, isn't it? Because it connects directly to the financial pressure the town is under.
Totally. The festival has to succeed.
Which leads us right into the core premise.
Yeah.
The town has invited a Mythbuster to audit its most cherished tradition.
That's right. And this institutional audit brings Dr. Jade Harlington to town, and she is anything but cozy.
Not at all.
She is a serious, formidable Cambridge scholar, famous enough to be a guest on Radio 4, and her reputation as the ultimate Mythbuster precedes her.
Right. She's professionally famous for just dismantling local legends.
The Linton Merman, the Bakewell poltergeist.
She specializes in verifiable proof, not, soft belief. Her opinion of Christmas is even quoted as being a fraudulent imposition.
So if you're Havenbrook, hiring her to look at your most important folklore.
It's like hiring a wolf to guard the holiday sheep.
It is a huge calculated risk, She's hired by Counselor Menon to audit the central tradition, the Starlight Wishes legend.
And this is where that academic rigor meets cold, hard financial reality.
Because the folklore itself is the main hook for the Harbor Lights Festival, which generates 6 figures of vital revenue. Jade's instructions are singular and uncompromising. Accuracy.
And that's the tension. You have Dr. Harlington pursuing objective academic truth, and then you meet Dr. Hugo Tennyson,
Or Hero.
who is pursuing the welfare of his community.
Yeah, Hugo is deeply rooted in Havenbrook. He's a local dentist, which right away makes him approachable, trustworthy.
Part of the town.
Exactly. But he's also a legacy keeper. His grandmother, Eloan Tennyson, was the one who hosted the Starlight Miracle Annual Gala way back in 1967.
So he has history.
Deep history. And he's been tasked with being the local liaison, which means his job is basically to run interference.
Because he knows the stakes aren't just academic footnotes. He is defending a legend that has actively kept his town afloat through what the book calls leaner years.
He gets it. This story, this tradition, it's the economic lifeblood and the social glue of Havenbrook.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You have Jade pursuing this verifiable, clinical, unyielding truth. But Hugo is defending a legacy built on what he kind of suspects is a benevolent fraud. The entire conflict is baked into their job descriptions before they even share a single tense cup of tea.
It raises that immediate, uncomfortable question. Is Jade, the champion of truth, actually the antagonist here?
It certainly feels that way at first, and that's the genius of the setup.
They are professionally bound to oppose each other, but their underlying motivation is identical.
Right.
They both care intensely about Havenbrook. They just have fundamentally different ideas about what saves a town.
Jade thinks it's honesty and integrity.
And Hugo thinks it's a shared beneficial story.
That philosophical friction, it just makes for spectacular character dynamics. The author doesn't rely on, like, silly misunderstandings.
No, the conflict is real, it's deep, and it's based entirely on their intellectual frameworks.
Which is so refreshing.
Absolutely. And the author smartly uses a supporting cast that acts almost like a Greek chorus to, amplify the fun and comment on everything.
Oh, the supporting cast is amazing.
You have Rafi Cross, the blue-haired archivist, who's always there to provide some color commentary on their relationship.
Rafi is basically the listener stand-in, just ordering popcorn.
Totally. And then you have Father Benedict Kavanaugh, the stately priest, who provides this incredibly dry, analytical wit. He's not just a religious figure, he's a philosophical foil.
He uses theological training to dissect the very nature of belief. It's brilliant.
They provide the perfect breathing room for the tension, because the dynamic between Jade and Hugo is it's immediate, it's sharp, and it's highly charged.
Instant enemies to lovers' gold.
Fueled by intellectual parody. Their first collision in the archives just sets the tone perfectly.
Oh, the street duel. Yeah. So when they clash in the street about their conflicting methodologies,
yes,
Hugo, with just perfect confidence, calls their interaction more of a peer review street duel.
It's such an amazing, specific line for two academics who can't stand each other.
And it prompts Rafi, the archivist, to suggest ordering popcorn and a scorecard.
Which tells you right away, this is a spectator sport. The whole town is watching.
And that playful hostility just keeps going with such incredible dialogue. There's that moment where Jade feels like he's everywhere, and she asks him, "Are you following me, or is this just the universe having a laugh?"
And his reply, with that perfect little smirk, is just iconic.
Could be both.
Yes, that's the rom-com gold we came for.
It's so good.
And it works because they're so evenly matched. Jade doesn't just see an annoying local. She actually notes to herself that Hugo is annoying, yes, and smug. But he was clever and, worst of all, funny.
And that combination, intellect and humor, that's what really gets past her defenses.
It sets up this irresistible, charged complicity because they're forced to work together on this project. They develop this daily competitive ritual.
Right after their intellectual duels, the winner gets the first pick of the snacks.
And the loser has to fetch the next round of tea.
I love that.
And that little ritual, it's actually a sign of their emotional growth. It creates a necessary structure for their interaction, making the hostility enjoyable instead of just exhausting.
It's a shared commitment to the process, even if they completely disagree on the outcome.
You see the heat, too. The author describes the physical tension so well. Even after they agree to a truce and they shake hands, there's a clear description of the lingering static between them.
So the stakes are the fate of the town, and the attraction is undeniable. which makes their working relationship just a brilliant, complex mess.
And this explosive dynamic, it all serves to set up the most crucial part of the story, the central theme, the discovery of the truth behind the starlight pairing legend.
Yes.
The audit starts with, historical facts, and then it completely shifts into this profound analysis of community action.
This is the institutional reveal that just elevates the entire book. The audit uncovers that the tradition didn't actually have a formal recorded liturgy until after World War I.
Which is a very specific and damning detail from Jade's academic perspective.
Because it means the tradition wasn't ancient or naturally occurring.
It was deliberately and relatively recently constructed. And that forced construction leads to the internal discovery of the secret ledger, the wish ledger. This is the pivot point.
The whole story turns right here.
The audit team realizes the legend wasn't supernatural. It was the result of quiet, organized, and generations-long social engineering.
The community was actively manufacturing the miracle.
And this is where the story gets its incredible emotional weight, because the audit uncovers specific moving evidence of this kindness conspiracy.
That's a great way to put it.
They find critical marginalia in the records, these little notes that explain that some of the pairings were arranged for people who were in extremis.
People in desperate circumstances.
And the final line in that ledger entry is just heartbreakingly clear and profound. NB, not a miracle, but a kindness.
Oh, that line.
It wasn't destiny or magic arranging these pairings. It was organized charity and mutual aid, but disguised as fate to preserve the dignity of the people receiving help.
So they weren't publicly identified as charity cases. That thematic twist means the whole story just shifts on its axis. It goes from being a supernatural tale of fate to a tradition of collective survival,
where human kindness was literally disguised as destiny.
And this forces Jade to completely reevaluate her definition of fraud.
And that's where Father Benedict's character becomes so important, because he gives voice to the philosophical crux of the entire book.
He asks the central question.
Is it still a con if everyone consents to the hope?
It forces you, the listener, to confront whether a beneficial lie can hold more value than a painful truth.
And Jade, our staunch Mythbuster, has this profound realization. She understands the legend isn't about the verifiable facts.
It is about the need for it to be true.
Yes. She gets that dismantling the myth means destroying the safety net and the sense of hope that holds the entire community together.
And that realization just dissolves her professional conflict with Hugo.
And provides the essential foundation for their romance. They become true allies.
They align on a shared ethical commitment.
Right. To maintain the integrity of the town while respecting its delicate history, their romantic resolution is based on telling the truth, but telling it in the gentlest possible handwriting.
That shared purpose, that commitment to compassionate integrity, it's just so much more satisfying than a simple realization of attraction. So what does this all mean? Well, The Last Starlight Wish is a perfect example of how complex and intellectually rewarding a romance novel can be.
It really is.
It masterfully blends sharp academic wit, the pressure of a high-stakes institutional audit, and the most satisfying kind of enemies-to-lovers arc, built on mutual respect and shared morality.
It truly showcases the author, Audrey Stone's, ability to capture the magic of love while building these charming yet really complex small-town settings. And for those of you who want to explore Havenbrook further, this book is part of a series.
Oh, that's right.
The next installment is Christmas Lights and Small Town Nights, which continues the tradition with another enemies-to-lovers story, this time focusing on Dr. Leah Perrell and hospital administrator Zach Maddox.
Ooh, sounds good. So if you are looking for a story that makes you think, makes you laugh, and makes you feel the Christmas spirit, you can dive into The Last Starlight Wish and find other titles in the Havenbrook series at silvergravitybooks.com. It is exactly the kind of smart, deep read we'd recommend for the holidays. But before we wrap up and let you get back to your own deep dives, we leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over. Does a story survive because it is magically true, or because the powerful, generations-spanning human kindness that created it is worth preserving? Even if it requires a little beautiful, well-engineered deception, we'll let you decide what truth is worth defending.